This situation with the kid named Micah throwing the races remind me of something that's definitely more martial arts related. And that's what I call the Cecil Ryu policy on students fighting at school. This is the same policy that I used with my own children when they were of that age, when they would get into skirmishes with people. Maybe more my son than my daughter. And she had a skirmish too, so. And my policy is this: as long as you are actually defending yourself, I don't have a problem with you fighting. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that, but I know from having to literally fight for an education, there are times when you cannot get a child from bothering you unless you hit them or more. And I don't really care about why, but I know that it is. So now, because parents, when you're a martial arts instructor, parents will ask you to speak to their children to help reinforce the values they have at home. The child's acting up at school. They want you to say something to the child's not studying, the child's not doing this, child's not doing that. They want you to come in and be a voice of reason outside of the family circle that they think maybe the child will take more seriously. And I have no problem with that. And I do that. But I tell parents this, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. I even say it in front of the child. If the child is actually behaving in self-defense, the child had a legitimate reason to feel threatened, and the child resorts to violence, I'm not going to be angry at the child. Now, having said that, just like with my own children, does that mean I'm going to go and try to sue the school district because the school says, no, we're going to suspend the child or put him in detention or give any type of discipline for fighting? No. It's like I told my own kids. That's their house. You knew the rules against fighting. You knew that if you fought, you were going to get in trouble. You knew that. You're not dumb. You know those are the rules of the school. But they're not fair, and you know they're not fair. So what are you going to do? Sometimes you're going to have to be willing to suffer one loss in the immediate term in order to get a bigger reward in the long term, or just to protect yourself. That's just how life is. And I tell them, if you really feel that strongly about it, then you need to try to fight the policies of the school and try to find some way to get them changed, which I really think you should. But then I used to tell people too, because I came to this conclusion when I was a teenager dealing with boys in high school. I was just like, you know what? I sat down and already thought about it, because I was really serious about trying to go on some kind of campaign to change the policy of students being able to defend themselves. And then I thought about it. I thought about how many fights really happen, really. Just because a lot are happening to me, how many fights are really happening to everybody? And it's really not that many. How long would it take to really get these policies changed? I was like 15 when I was thinking about this. I still remember this. I said, well, by the time I actually could get these policies changed, I'd have been out of high school. So it's not worth it for me. I'm going to just have to learn how to deal with these fools and get out. And I've told this to my own son. And I know I've said this to at least a couple of other students. I just can't remember who. And that is, you have to be careful when you're getting into fights, when you want to fight somebody at school, or heaven forbid if you're working at a job, because somebody may want to racially harass you or just pick on you, period, because they don't like the fact that you have a job. There are people, this is straight from a race standpoint, there are people who feel like a black person should have nothing. They deserve nothing. And if they can't knock you on the merits of your accomplishments, they're going to try to get you to basically fire yourself. So you don't want them to get you to fire yourself. So you need to realize that they could be trying to haze you or harass you to get you to quit the job or get you to get yourself fired because they just don't want to see a black person in that position. Or if you're not black, they just don't like you and they don't want to see you in that position. So don't feed into it. That's the time when you need to ignore something unless it's actually, you're fending off a straight up assault. Because if you're actually fending off a straight up assault, I could be wrong, but I think the odds are, you're not going to get in trouble if you're actually literally just fending off a straight up assault. See, a lot of times when you get in trouble, and I know I was guilty of this, is, okay, you fending off the assault, right? You fending off the assault, but then you want to punish the person for being physical with you in the first place, so you go way overboard in the force that you deliver to keep the person off you. Example is, you shouldn't have to kick them in the ribs and start calling them words that rhyme with trucker and kind of sound like smother in the beginning. Rhymes with brother trucker while you're kicking them in the ribs in order to drive the point home that no, don't bother me. Although sadly, it does seem like that's what it takes to get some people to leave you alone. But when you do that, you're definitely using more force than necessary to neutralize the situation. So you have to take it all for what it's worth. And that's my policy on kids fighting, students fighting again. If it's really self-defense, I don't have a problem with it. But if you're going around there being the bully or fighting for money, I definitely don't approve of that. And I'm not going to justify or stand for it. Martial arts is supposed to be about self-defense or defense of others. And let's make it clear, when I say fighting for money, I mean unsanctioned illegal fights, not sanctioned fights where people are medically cleared and they've trained to fight someone who's of equal ability. I think you know what I'm talking about. Peace.